Hi, I'm John, I'm in my guitar garage, and today I'm going to be looking at the Eric Johnson presets available in the Fender Tonemaster Pro Cloud. If I'm not happy with any of those presets, I'm going to build my own. I'll be using my Schecter Nick Johnston Traditional throughout. It has 3 single coil pickups and is the closest thing to a Fender Strat which Eric Johnson is known to use. Alright, let's dive straight in. I'll be wearing headphones throughout because I want to hear these presets in stereo, not through my mono speaker. Eric Johnson has a very wide stereo sound, uses multiple amps and multiple cabs, so I think it would be better to preview these using headphones so I can understand exactly how it sounds. So the first thing I'm going to do is I am going to search for Eric Johnson in the cloud. So I'm in Pro Control app here, so you can see there's a whole bunch of EJ rigs here. And I'm going to download the majority of these and see how they sound. There are also a couple of Fender presets and I'm going to include those too. But the first one I'm going to load is this one called simply EJ, simple preset for Eric Johnson. Now you can see here that the bass is a 65 twin reverb, which is what Eric Johnson uses. It also has a British plexi, again, what Eric Johnson uses, and the tube driver, which is all perfect. The tape echo, which is a replica of a unit that is also used by Eric Johnson, a triple double chorus, and a large hall reverb. Now we have clean and lead, and this is the clean setup. So this is how the clean sounds using my neck pickup. Now I can hear a couple of problems with that straight away. The first one is actually the chorus pedal, and I'll come to that in a second, but I think there's too much high end in this. So first thing I want to do, I may knock that bright switch off, but the first thing I want to do is check the cab. So you can see down here on the right, the high cut is set to 20 kilohertz. That's way too high. So I've just done a search in Google. You can see that I searched for what is the speaker frequency range of a 65 Fender twin amp, and it says that a twin amp uses a range of roughly 75 Hz to 5 kilohertz. This is a common range for guitar speakers and generally focuses on reproducing the frequencies relevant to electric guitars. So as you can see, this is way off here with 20 kilohertz. So let's change that. Now that is an immediate improvement, but I can still hear these artifacts that are caused by this chorus pedal. I'm not really a fan of this effect because of this control here, sparkle. This is what it sounds like with sparkle. And without. You can hear all those weird artifact sort of sounds have gone. And now it sounds a lot smoother. So that's a nice sound, nice bass sound. It's got a nice amount of delay on it. The hall reverb sounds good. So just needed a little bit of tweaking for that one, but let's go to the lead sound. So kind of contrary to how Eric Johnson sets up his amps, this has got the plexi dimed with the presence rolled back, the bass rolled back, the treble rolled back, and then it's using the British greenback with an RE20 3 inches off the cab. It's still got the wrong low and high cut here, so let's fix that. You need this much, much higher. So I'm going to say 85, but whatever here. And then this is, let's take that right down. For a greenback speaker, they're a very smooth speaker. Now with the neck pickup. So that's actually a pretty good preset once those speaker high cut and low cuts have been fixed. But the only thing I'd say about this is that this is not how Eric Johnson would set this up. So what I read was that for lead sounds, Eric Johnson sets the plexi at just the edge of breakup, so without the tube driver. So normally I'd say that was being dimed wouldn't be the right sound, but I guess because the presence is almost off, if you were to put that up to say 8. Yeah, with the presence all the way off, that kind of smooths that out, lowers the gain a little bit, which is why you can then put the tube driver on and have the drive quite high. This tube overdrive pedal it's quite difficult to use. If you put a little bit too much gain on the amp, it just turns into complete sort of distorted fuzz. So it's actually been set up really nicely here. All right, we're going to move on to the next one. Sorry about the sound difference, but I have just had to switch mics. My other one died. So I'm going to move on. Okay, I have a pair of presets here that I downloaded. One is called JC Eric Johnson Clean, and the other is JC Eric Johnson Lead. So somebody has actually separated these out into 2 presets. So again, the Fender Twin has been used, 2x12, tape echo, triple double chorus, and large hall reverb. So this may be based actually on the other one, I'm not sure. It's got the bright switch on. And again, 20 kilohertz high cut, which is just not right. So I'm thinking this is going to sound exactly like the other one. It does. Okay. No point me using this one because the same points apply to the other one, the EJ preset, so you'd have to do all the same things to it. Let's go to the lead. Okay, so the lead, as kind of expected, has the plexi, the tube overdrive, the round fuzz, and Eric Johnson is known for using a fuzz pedal, and also tape echo and large hall reverb. So a lot of similarities here, but it also has the Fender Twin in ears. So, okay. So if you look in the foot switcher sign, there's actually a clean and rhythm lead. Okay, so the clean will switch the amps. But it doesn't switch off the fuzz. Do you do that? No, that's going to be a lead and I'll put on the tube overdrive. Okay, this doesn't really work. So let's just worry about the lead part of this. So by default, this is what the lead tone sounds like. I'm not a huge fan of fuzz. I don't think that sounds, it doesn't have much clarity, but that is meant to be, I think, the rhythm. So if I switch to lead, it uses the tube overdrive. That's all right. I think these two are based on each other. I'm not sure which one came first. Kind of the same setup. So let's move on to another one. This one's called DRC Clean Mono. Again, I mean, everyone's looked up what EJ uses and they've gone for the Fender Twin for the clean tone, makes sense, but this one's actually put the pedals in front of the amp. So that's interesting. They've set up the chorus and pedal comp as separate stomps. So, but let me check. Again, it's just using the default high cuts. It's not going to sound right. And with the SM57 right on the cap, like that's just too bright for me. It is too bright. It's way too bright. That's got to be 5 kilohertz. And I don't think you can do that. I just wonder if you need that bright switch. To me, it sounds better without that brightness, so I wouldn't even have it on the with the bright switch on. Let's try putting on the compressor. Maybe for these parts you'd have the compressor. And then potentially turn that off for the main melody. I'm not sure I'd have the compressor quite so high in the mix there. So that's in the ballpark again. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just that setting too bright. Everyone's going super bright, and I'm not sure why. So let's go to the lead channel from the same user. This is DRC Eric Johnson Lead. Again, Plexi, which has volume full, but volume 2 rolled back. Presence is pretty high. No treble, no middle, no bass. It's an interesting setup. And then an EVH 5150 cabinet with a condenser on the cone edge. Whoa, and these settings are wild here. Okay, let's have a look. Some nasty fizziness. I would say that's probably because of this. That needs to come right down. Let's put it on 5 again. That's very low. I mean, very high for the low cut. I would be bringing that down to 90 or something. That seems... I think what the person's done here is that they've used the condenser all the way on the cone edge to try and take away some of the brightness from the amp. But they've also taken all the character out of the amp by doing this. I don't know that this is the answer. I think it's got to have some middle to it. Like roll the bass back, but like maybe just lower the presence or something. Let's give this a try. So now you've got a bit more clarity in the actual drive tone. Could even roll that down a little bit. But you haven't got that top sort of fizziness from the speaker. I think that sounds a lot better personally. Not sure you need this mic. Like, we try a different one. It just works so well with an SM57. Now it gets too bright, but you could definitely get away with it on the cone. But it's the wrong speaker. I don't think it should be the V30. I think it, especially not the 5150 V30, I just think that this cabinet is wrong. So I personally would switch out this cab and go for a greenback, because that's going to be more sort of authentic in my opinion. Anyway, it's not a bad preset, but moving on to EJ Live Rig. Whew. There's a lot going on in here. So we've got clean, rhythm. Let's have a look at the rhythm. Lead. And then you can turn on and off the Hall Reverb, Tape Echo, Fuzz, and Boost independently. So let's go to the clean tone. So the clean uses the Fender Twin. I mean, you just have to, don't you? At least a little bit of difference in this one, but it's still too high. Whoa. I can hear already it's going to be very bright, this one. The other thing you got to remember as well, I'm auditioning all of these with headphones on because I want to hear what it sounds like, because I record these tones, right? So I can listen to them through my speaker and it's going to sound a lot duller than it will through my headphones. The headphones are going to pick up all the brightness. Some people are going to dial this in with their particular speaker cab. So probably they're going to be using like an FR10 or an FR12. They might dial back some of the treble, or they might dial up some of the treble, whatever it is. They've got their EQ settings for their particular speaker cab, and then they'll build that preset for that. So I'm doing it with headphones because I want to get a pure sound of how it will sound if you record it, and then if it goes into my speaker, it should basically sound the same, but I know it depends on whether my speaker's angled up, whether it's up on a pole, or whether it's on the floor. Like, you get different bass frequencies. So I'm not criticizing what's been done, but at the same time, you've got to look up the frequency ranges of the speakers that you're using and try and dial it in the same kind of way. There's no point having a 10 kilohertz high cut on a speaker if the speaker that it's modeled on couldn't go any higher than 5 kilohertz. What's the point? You're not getting the same tone. Anyway, this preset starts with a 3D chorus, mode 3, the MXR compressor, tape echo, Hall reverb. This is the sound on the neck pickup. And again, it's in the headphones, it's just way too bright. And we know that the Twin has a 5 kilohertz cutoff, so that will help a little bit. Let's see the amp settings. We could roll the treble down. Oh, that's a bit better already. Got a lot of wow and flutter going on with this. That's a bit better. So that's EQ'd the clean sound a little bit. Let's go to the rhythm sound. That's again a little bit bright. It kind of shouldn't be looking at these amp settings. Again, greenback speakers do not go up to 11 kilohertz. Immediately much better, but I don't like the fact that all of the middle and treble have been taken. Immediately sounds better with an SM57. Okay, so now it's a little bit bright. So let's roll off that a little bit. We'll roll down the presence. But really, in actual fact, EJ probably would have used some pedal in front of the amp and not used this sort of dimed. So maybe he would have put the fuzz on. Not really sure. I don't know, but let's move on. Lead. All right, I've reset it because I realized I'd messed with the settings. So gone back now, we just have these four activated. We have the tube overdrive, plexi, tape echo, and hall reverb. Okay, so first things first, let's sort out this situation. I don't want an SM7B. I do not believe Eric Johnson would use that. So let's go with a classic 1-inch off the cap edge with an SM57. I've got the high cut corrected. Come out of this and we will roll back some of that volume. And we'll use the tube overdrive to create a lead tone. It's actually quite nice, just like that. Gives that sort of singing lead tone, the violin sound that people talk about. So I'm seeing some patterns emerging here, but this one actually uses an EQ7, a memory delay, and a green box, as well as a fuzz. So I'm interested to see the difference here. It doesn't have any foot switches set up, so it doesn't use the tube overdrive at all. Obviously, this must be the lead tone. I already know what's going to happen here. What? No. Guys, you've got to fix this. It makes a huge difference. There's no point trying to EQ this stuff out afterwards. Help but think that EQ is just set up because the wrong mic has been used. It's okay. Not a fan of fuzz though. I think that's the problem. I just don't like fuzz pedals. The memory delay also gives a certain sound as well. Like if you turn that off. Kind of dulls the tone down a little bit. So in fact you could probably bring... it's already quite high. It has no middle. I like the fact the green box is used because I think that gives it a nice sort of warm tone. You can play around with the levels in here, but just not a fan of the fuzz. That's just me. Okay, moving on to EJ Rig Scenes. Now, I believe this is made by none other than Jason Stillwell from Fender. So that's why you can see it has some scenes set up in here, which will change the look here. So let me use foot switches on the floor so you can see what's going on. Now, once again, you can see the Fender Twin has been used. Makes sense. And also the Plexi. This time round, there is a digital delay and a memory delay in front of the amp for the clean and a 3D chorus, as well as a small hall reverb. The high cut's 11.9 kilohertz. Am I missing something? Is it 11.9 for the... Have I got that wrong? So it appears that I was wrong, or at least Gemini was wrong. The speaker in the Fender Twin, the Jensen C12K, actually has a frequency response of 70 hertz to 7 kilohertz. So you can go higher than I said, 5 kilohertz. But for Eric Johnson, I mean, you want to take off as much top end as you can, but nowhere near 11.9 kilohertz. So let's hear how this clean tone sounds. No offense, Jason, I'm going to change that. It's actually really nice. Let's hear how much difference it makes going down to 7 kilohertz. Okay, for this particular kind of what I'm playing, there's way too much delay. So let's just turn off the memory delay for a sec. So there's a single delay sort of slapback thing going on there. Not quite slapback, it's not fast enough. So I'm going to bring that down in the mix. Now turn that off and turn on the memory delay. Again, very high in the mix. That's going to be okay. Let's turn the other one back on. So a little bit of tweaking, that's pretty nice. Let's go to, I'm just going to go to the lead. I don't know about Eric Johnson rhythm playing, sorry. I'm just going to go to the lead tone. So switch that. All right, now we have the Plexi, greenback. Wow, 20 hertz and 13.8. I'm going to change that. We have the volume up pretty high. That's what I would expect. And then the tube overdrive, tape echo, small reverb. Whoa, 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 whoa. That is really... That's really buzzy. It's got to be that. So greenbacks, I'm going to put a 5. And get rid of some of that. Let's take it to, no, 90. RE20, okay. Yeah, that it's that thing with the tube overdrive I don't like is sometimes it just lose all the clarity, like that fuzz kind of sound. I have to kind of dial it back. All right. Let's move on. I want to move on to the Trademark Clean. This is one of the Fender presets. So this should nail what I've been doing the whole time here. And the foot switches are just on-offs for all the effects that are used here. So we've got the compressor, JC vibrato, a pair of Fender Twins, which is, oh no, a Fender Twin and a Deluxe reverb, sorry. They're panned left and right, and then you have a studio delay and a large hall reverb. Okay, let's see how that sounds. Too bright for me. That's why. Okay, let's fix these low and high cuts. I'm so confused. And the Deluxe, I'm guessing, is the same. Yep. Jeez. All right, let's get that down to 7 as well, as I've found out. This one uses SM57. This one uses a condenser, C414. And let's give that a go. Better. Definitely better. I'm not digging that vibrato, to be honest. Yeah, it's okay. I actually prefer probably the first. I think I prefer this one for the clean tone. I think that one captures it better. So I built my own preset. So this one uses what I read Eric Johnson used on Trademark. Don't know if it's true. It could have been either Google or AI giving me a bum steer. But what I read was he used a Fender Twin into a pair of Marshall cabs. So I'm guessing the pair of Marshall cabs are greenbacks. And also I'm added a chorus, the reverb, and a couple of tape echoes. My Fender Twin is set pretty much stock when you load it. I've just rolled the treble back, I think, a little bit. May have even just left it as is. I've got a condenser with pretty aggressive cut on the high cut. I'm still sticking with my 5 kilohertz because it's a greenback. And a ribbon R121 with the same high and low cuts. I've panned those left and right, and then I've got the chorus here, and let's see how that sounds. I probably would add a on-off for the compressor. I'm not sure you'd want it on all the time. With the compressor on. I'm pretty happy with that. And this is my lead tone, which uses the tube overdrive, as others have used as well. But I've also used a green box with the drive off and the level up a little bit, and I've rolled the tone all the way down. Then I have my plexi set up with a bit of volume, but the volume 2s roll back a little bit. I have my greenbacks, 57 and an R121. I've rolled back the high cut even more and just panned a little bit left and right here. I have the whole reverb on and one of the tape echoes. The other tape echo is just like a short slapback. You could actually put that on. So with just one of the tape echoes, really, really short slapback. And then the other one does your sort of longer delays. In fact, if you're going to use that as the slapback, you can also increase the time on this one and give it a bit of a stereo. It's maybe a little bit high in the mix there. Quite nice though. I can't play Cliffs of Dover, so I've got the music up here to see if I can learn it, but I don't think I'll be able to play it. Close enough. So I hope you've enjoyed looking at how we can create Eric Johnson tones using the Fender Tonemaster Pro. I'm pretty happy with this particular preset that I've created. The other ones are great too, so you can download those and have a play, see which one fits you the best. I'm going to upload mine to the cloud now. It's called JGG Eric Johnson. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.